Hello everyone, Guillaume Letzman here, host of the E-Commerce Wizards podcast, where I feature leaders in e-commerce and business. Today's guest for his second appearance is Reinis Krumins. So we'll be talking about the biggest mistakes in email marketing. Reinis is the co-founder of AgencyJR, who specializes in email marketing. Reinis, thanks for being here again today.
Happy to be here as always.
All right, so what are the biggest mistakes you've seen in emails marketing?
Yeah, so I'll start with the first one. It's not sending enough emails. Brands that generate 8, 9 figures send more emails than you think. Like typically, with before we start working with a brand, we see they might have like a weekly newsletter going out, like one email a week, something like that. It's not enough. The same thing for abandoned checkout sequences and flows. They might have 1 to 2 emails set up. That's not enough. Typically, for example, for abandoned checkouts, we have 5 up to 7 emails set up to remind them about getting the purchase and converting the customer again. That's probably the biggest lever you have to generate more sales through email is send more emails.
How much spacing do you put in between, let's say, the specific example of abandoned cart email, sending 5 to 7?
Yeah, so the answer is it depends, but typically there's a structure. The first one we always send after 15 minutes. We've done split test. 15 minutes works the best.
15 minutes. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that works the best. Typically, next one can be either few hours afterwards, so 3 to 9 hours afterwards, or the next day. And what we like to do with the next day emails is not just sending them one day afterwards, but sending them 22 hours afterwards, 26 hours afterwards, something so it doesn't go out at the same time, but it goes out in different times. So if the person is maybe not as busy, maybe more busy the next day at the same time, we send them in different time frames. So it's kind of like
they might get it late morning, mid afternoon, early evening, and you hope to catch them.
Yeah, I mean, not as big of a variation. It's typically just a couple of hours. So, like, if for example they try to place an order at 4, we might send an email at 2 or 6. Like, it's typically 2 hours, 3 hours max deviation from the time. But it's a good way, so it's not going always out at 4, but one day it goes at 2, next day it goes at the 5, then it goes at the 3, then it goes at the 6, right? And what we do there is typically the emails would be 15 minutes, around 6 hours, 18 hours, 26. They might do like a 2-day space and another like 1-day space, something like that. So then throughout the week they get a few emails.
Did you get any unsubscribe from like bumping up the pace like this?
Yeah, you do, but it's worth the conversions. And typically, the bigger the brand you are, the more emails you generate. Emails you generate from your traffic, it's not gonna bother you as much. Yeah, no, because like we see, for example, we were in a conversation with a 9-figure brand, and they were sending, for example, 3 emails a day, every single day. I think it's very aggressive to go from 0 emails and 1 email a week to 3 a day, and they all are also doing 9 figures a year, which obviously helps you grow the list a lot further, and the churn for their customers isn't as they're not that worried about it because they're everywhere. They have their own TV channel, they're on basically all the social media platforms, massive team, and they're scaling the crap out of the brand.
Okay, interesting. So what's biggest mistake number 2?
People not paying enough attention to segmentation. So one of the easiest ways to make money with email is personalization. What most people do is they just take a big chunk of their list, like everyone, and just start sending them emails. What we want to do instead is start segmenting them and taking the customers and putting them into different buckets: buyers, non-buyers, engaged customers, disengaged customers. And then we can personalize an email to each one of these specific segments to generate more sales. For example, with buyers, you can straight up invite them to buy another product or teach them how they can better use their current product. For non-buyers, you can feature testimonials and other kinds of social proof and other special offers to help them convert. And for example, for buyers, you might not need as much of a push, whereas for non-buyers, you might need to push them more. And it's better for you to push them more because you can either have them buy the product at a lower margin, or you can have them not buy a product at all. So it's better for you to make some money than no money at all.
Okay, pretty good. And what more can you tell us about, let's say, segmentations? You said, okay, buyers, non-buyers, disengaged buyers. Do you also segment in some other ways? And I guess it depends on the size of the list for this to make sense.
Yeah.
But like, do you sell similar categories, or if somebody bought, let's say, men's clothes, does it even make sense to send them women's clothes and say, oh, maybe they're shopping for somebody else? Or you say, no, just like
Yes.
keep hammering men's clothes,
Yeah, I mean, typically we try to, so we, in Klavi have predicted genders. So when you can send emails to the genders, but we don't do it all the time because it's not 100% accurate. And if, for example, there's someone like me where Klavi has no idea whether, I would be Elise or I would be Andrew because it's Reinis, it's a non-English name. It has no idea whether I'm a man or a woman. It would just decide. And if I'm always getting like women's dresses, I'm not interested in non-subscribing. So it's more about knowing who your ideal customer is. Like we have, for example, one brand where their ideal customers are basically women like 30 to 60 years old or gay men, right? Those are the two audience, but we know the majority, like 95% of the audience is women. So we would primarily talk to those people as if they were women in that case, because the 5%, if there's an accurate way for us to split this and take that out, in that case that could be with the protected gender, we could talk them differently. But in case of that brand, there wouldn't be that much of a difference in language or benefits for each gender, so we use both. But if we can get the data, we would segment. Like it depends on how deep the CRM is. Some CRMs are more shallow than others.
And that was about like gender. So let's say if you go in other kind of categories, like maybe more like product category, this one's maybe, I don't know, electronics or cameras.
Yeah.
I guess you'd push accessories that are cross-selling for that specific thing. And do you go in other categories? Say, well, they were interested in, I don't know, a digital camera. Do I push a laptop or do I don't go in other categories?
So when it comes to shops that have so we work with shops who maybe have like 1 to 20 SKUs, and we work with shops who have like 5-figure SKUs. For the shops that have like under, I'd say 100 SKUs, for them it's more personalized on like if they did buy this, these are more complementary products. But it all again depends on the size, because typically what we might see, they might have a hero SKU which people buy through paid ads, and we try to upsell and cross sell them complementary products. And we talk about how these can make this product better, or if they didn't buy the main product, we can talk about these as alternatives if they are. As for shops that have high 4 figures, three, 4, 5, 6 figures in SKUs, for them it's more general. We're not going to be personalizing as much, because if you have 100,000 SKUs on your shop, like us taking a specific colors of a specific shoe and then aggregating data to see if they would buy a laptop, I think if a machine does that, that's a decent test. But realistically speaking, that's too deep. We typically would feature multiple product categories and then kind of give them the choice, because it's like, for example, it's like Amazon. You go on Amazon, you either have a specific product you want to buy, or you just want to see what they have. In this case, it all comes down to the angle. We might be doing an electronic specific sale. We might be talking about our products, the size of the products we sell on the shop, so on and so forth.
Okay, so you might go one level up and sort of feature the whole category, because of course, if you just bought a digital camera for $50,000, it's unlikely that you need another one for a while. But like buying a car, it's unlikely you need a second one right away. So you might just go up the category and see if there's other things that maybe fits the broader category of like electronics, and maybe feature a few subcategories and see if you're just fishing and see if they click on something, and then this user also likes laptops, or also likes sound equipment, or also likes music stuff. Or okay,
yeah, I mean, if you typically acquire customers through a laptop, for example, upselling them headphones, maybe keyboards, so on and so forth, that is logical. But if they come from all over the place, I would look at more the category side and go broader.
Okay. Pretty good.
This episode is brought to you by MageMontreal. If a business wants a powerful e-commerce online store that will increase their sales, or to move piled up inventory to free up cash reserves, or to automate business processes to reduce human processing errors, our company, MageMontreal, can do that. We've been helping e-commerce stores for over a decade. Here's the catch. We're specialized and only work on the Adobe Magento e-commerce platform, also known as Adobe Commerce. We're among only a handful of certified companies in Canada. We do everything Magento related. If you know someone who needs design, support, training, maintenance, or a new e-commerce website, email our team at support@MageMontreal.com or go to MageMontreal.com. That's MAGE Montreal.com.
All right. What's the third biggest mistake?
Sending just promotions, just hammering sales out of the customers. It's like, imagine you have a friend, and every time you talk, this friend starts asking for favors, for money, and they just always take. And at one point, it might feel malicious. Like they're just, like every time they talk to you, they're trying to take from you. So the same thing happens if you only sell within your emails. Instead of just pushing sales, you want to educate your customers on how they can better use your product or create advertorials that feature your product as, you know, a useful tool for them to make their lives easier. Like, for example, if you sell mops or other home cleaning accessories, instead of sending campaigns that tell you, you know, that this mop is the best and why it's best, you can send an email showing 3 tips on how your customers can clean their homes 30% quicker. And then you include your product as a tool to necessarily, to just basically help you
Do this
do
quicker.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Pretty good. A fourth one?
Yes. Stay native to the medium. You have to, for example, if you run paid ads on Facebook, you know that user-generated content works well. With email marketing, what we see brands do is they only send visual emails. We do send visual emails, but we mix them together with text-based emails. So text-based emails have no images, no code, nothing. It's just only text. It looks like an email that was sent by a colleague, sent by a friend. And those perform really, really well because they're native to the medium. And HTML and visual emails, they have their place, but these ones are very, very personalized.
Okay, so you're saying by email, you should explore text-only emails.
Yes.
And sure, once in a while, you may have a full HTML visual, but it's meant to write text and text, so do that, basically.
Yeah. For example, if we send follow-ups, if we have a sale launch, like a big Black Friday sale, that might be a visual email to showcase a product. But then the follow-ups afterwards might be text-based, where we only showcase text, right?
Yeah, just your communication. You're just having a communication or discussion. Okay, pretty good. And when you were talking about, let's say on Facebook, user-generated content works well. So what will you do? You send ads to or use ads to boost and promote specific users' content?
No. So user-generated content is kind of like video testimonials.
Okay, in that sense. Okay. Because
Yeah,
of course you
like
still need a way to
unboxing the
capture,
product.
obviously, and see. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's everything's done by actors. UGC is a lie. It's a marketing buzzword, but most of these user-generated content type ads are created by actors, because really a person who doesn't know how to have proper lighting, who doesn't know how to properly take a video, their ads would suck, right? They just not perform well. They might have worked in 2007, but not anymore. You know, now you need something that can stand out and be more professional.
Okay. So yeah, interesting. Any other tips for the other stuff? Like, I guess the other platforms, do you do the same? Whatever it is, TikTok or other stuff like that.
TikTok, yeah,
it's the same.
It works well on TikTok. Yeah, I mean, you can. TikTok is just, you gotta make your TikTok look like a native video. Just have add the direct response element to it.
Yeah, which is what I meant by, like, do you just promote something and have some kind of call to action, direct response to it? Okay. All right. Okay, so we have a fourth one. Do we have a fifth mistake?
Yes. Not making your emails and website congruent. Like if someone gets an email from you, we need that to be congruent to your website. So someone can click on the email, get to the website, and then be able to then you can be able to place an order. And the more similar we make them, to the extent where, for example, if you send a visual email, it looks very similar to the website. It has the same colors, similar layout, etc., etc. The more, the higher conversion we can typically see, because if they, for example, see an email, then go to the website, they're completely different. They might think it was some sort of a spam email, something like that. Even if they purchase from you, like they have like the sketchy feeling where some things don't add up. So just making
brand consistency and experience
yeah,
consistency across all
making
channels, basically.
yes. And I'd say the next mistake would be after this. The bigger you get, the more busy you're gonna get, but it doesn't mean you can exclude and neglect email marketing. That's typically true because as the bigger you are, the more SKUs you might be managing, the more inventory you have to manage. There's a lot of work that gets involved, and this is where starting to neglect the emails can be easy, but it costs you a lot of money. It doesn't cost you a lot of money directly, but it costs indirectly because we have brands that do 1 million in sales a month, and on top of the million, we generate 315K from emails, like massive sales. If they were, to neglect that, they're losing a third of their monthly revenue, really. And this, I think, connects very well with the last mistake we see is you shouldn't be doing email marketing yourself. It is very profitable for you as a brand, but it's not gonna move your business forward, if you know what I mean. The stuff that is gonna move your business forward is you acquiring more new customers, you having more new SKUs, and then having either someone in-house, your team, or I don't know, like an agency freelancer who can do the email marketing to combine your efforts with emails and retention, and you focus on acquiring customers cheaply as possible with the highest lifetime value, and then you have another team that can focus on getting these customers to buy over and over again. Because if, for example, you shift your entire focus to email marketing, acquisition gets neglected. In emails alone, it's kind of like a shrinking bubble, because people from the email, as they can unsubscribe and they can maybe go away, and they might have purchased everything they want, so it gets smaller. So if you can combine both, you can really accelerate growth, because the money you make from emails, it can be reinvested in paid ads. You can invest that money into paid ads. You can scale more and make more money. Then you have more money coming from emails. You can have this nice flywheel of growth.
Yeah, coming from multiple angles. And of course, those even subscribers, ideally they purchase, but maybe they just subscribe to the newsletter anyway to keep increasing this flywheel, as you say. Pretty good. So we have our 7 biggest mistakes in email marketing. Didn't know how many we would end up with. So this is a pretty good number. So Reinis, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Hop on a call with me, AgencyJR.com/call. So agency, J as in Jacob, R as in Reinis.com/call.
All right.
Phone call. Pretty straightforward.
Thanks for being here today, Reinis.
Happy to be on. Thank you.